My name is Maylee, I'm 23, and I used to believe small kindness didn't matter. One rainy night, I gave food to a beggar with kind eyes. I didn't know I just handed my heart, and my fate, to a billionaire in disguise. He was soaked and starving on the street. I gave him my lunch. 3 weeks later, I walked into a marriage meeting, and saw him again. It was raining the day I met him. Not the romantic kind of rain. The ugly, cold kind that seeps through your clothes and makes the city smell like metal and regret. I was coming off a brutal shift at the restaurant. My feet hurt. My wallet was almost empty. But I had one thing, the boxed lunch I hadn't touched all day. As I stepped out of the alley, I saw him, slouched near a construction wall. Soaked. Shivering. Clothes stained. People passed without even looking. But his eyes, they weren't desperate. Just quiet. I don't know what made me stop. Maybe because I knew that feeling being invisible. Maybe because something in his silence echoed mine. I knelt, handed him the lunch. You need it more than I do. He blinked, stunned, then smiled, the kind of smile that says thank you without words. I left before he could say anything. Didn't even ask his name. I forgot about it, honestly, until 3 weeks later. My aunt dragged me to a marriage interview. She worked as a part-time maid for a rich family, and somehow landed me a chance to marry up. I was wearing borrowed heels in anxiety. When I walked into the tea lounge, he was there. Dry, clean, dressed in tailored black. Hair slicked back. A silver watch on his wrist. Flanked by bodyguards. It couldn't be. But it was. The man I gave lunch to on a rainy day was now the son of the CEO of Lynn Corporation. And his eyes? Still quiet. But this time they widened the moment he saw me. And when he stood up and pulled out a chair for me, the entire room froze. His name was Lin Ju, heir to Lin Corp, China's fastest-growing tech empire. To the world, he was trouble. There were rumors. He'd wrecked a sports car last year. Was expelled from business school twice. The tabloids called him the Broken Prince. Rich, wild, and wasted. My aunt had no idea who he was when she arranged the meeting. Neither did I. But now, staring at him across the table, all I could see was the man I handed lunch to on a rainy day. And he couldn't stop staring either. He ignored the tea set. Ignored the formalities. He just looked at me like he was seeing sunlight for the first time. You remember me, he said. It wasn't a question. I nodded. I didn't know you were. Neither did I, he said, cutting in. Until that night. Turns out he'd run away from home. Sick of being told who to be, how to act, what to wear. He wanted to disappear. But no one noticed him. Except me. I didn't treat him like a prince. I just treated him like a person. Now, sitting across from him in a 5-star lounge, I felt out of place. He didn't. He leaned in, voice low. I told my parents I'd only marry someone real. Someone who saw me. Before I could respond, the doors swung open. His mother entered like a storm, dripping in pearls. Eyes sharp. Smile fake. She looked at me like I was dirt on her heel. And I suddenly realized, this wasn't just tea and matchmaking. This was a test. And I was about to be torn apart by people who thought kindness had no value. But when I looked at Lin Ju again, he wasn't nervous. He was calm. Like he'd already chosen. And I was the answer no one expected. She didn't even sit down. Lin Ju's mother scanned me from head to toe like I was something stuck to her designer heels. This is the girl you're considering? Her voice was smooth but full of poison. She didn't wait for an answer. She's wearing knockoff shoes. Her jacket's 2 seasons old. Her nails are chipped. Honestly, Ju, even the waitresses at this lounge look better. I froze. Every word landed like a slap. I wanted to shrink into the floor. Lin Ju said nothing at first. Just kept watching me. Not with pity but with patience. She works in a noodle shop, his mother added, clearly digging through her research. No degree. No family name. No worth. I bit my lip to keep it from trembling. My hands were clenched under the table. Every cell in my body screamed run. This was a mistake. I didn't belong in this room, at this table, in this life. But then, he stood up, pulled out the chair beside me and sat. Right next to me, in front of her. Do you know how I met her? His voice was even, unshaken. 3 weeks ago I was drenched, hungry, and invisible. She gave me her lunch without asking my name. She didn't know who I was. And she didn't care. His mother scoffed. That proves exactly my point. No, he said. It proves mine. He turned to me gently, like I was the only one who mattered. She gave without expecting anything. That's rare. Then back to his mother. You want someone who can polish the family name. I want someone who reminds me who I am beneath it. Silence. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. I wanted to cry, not from shame this time but from shock. No one had ever defended me like that. And in that moment, in front of cold eyes and judgmental stares, I realized this reckless, ruined son might be the only man who ever truly saw me. They didn't throw us a wedding. No red carpet. No family photos. No fireworks. Just a quiet signature at a courthouse. And 2 gold bands in a plain velvet box. I wore a white dress borrowed from my friend at the restaurant. My hair was pinned up with chopsticks. He wore a black shirt and no tie. Still, when he looked at me in that moment, I felt like the most chosen woman on earth. His mother didn't come. She made it clear this was beneath the Lin family name. That a street girl marrying her son was a stain that wouldn't wash off. But his father showed up the next day. Lin Wei-jun. Theo. The legend. He arrived at our tiny apartment with 2 things in his hands. A red folder and a small silver key. He looked at me not with warmth but with weight. You don't know what you've walked into, he said. I nodded. I didn't come for money. I came because I love him. He stared for a long moment, then handed me the folder. Inside, a business contract with my name printed in gold, an equity agreement, a stake in Lin Corp's community outreach fund. You gave him food when we gave him pressure. That has more value than any dowry. Then he handed me the key to the penthouse. It's yours now. Both of yours. My breath caught. I didn't want any of it. Not the penthouse, not the shares. But this wasn't about wealth. It was about recognition. From a man who'd built empires and knew exactly how rare kindness without condition really was. As he left, he said one last thing. Make sure he stays human. You're the only one who ever did. And that's when I realized I hadn't just married into power. I'd been trusted with it. They didn't believe it at first. The same girls who laughed at my hand-me-down dresses, the same customers who threw coins at me like I was a dog, they all stared when I walked back into the noodle shop, not as a waitress but as Mrs. Lin. My simple gold wedding band now shimmered under the same fluorescent lights that once flickered above my greasy apron. People whispered. Some bowed. Some begged to take a photo. Some just blinked, trying to figure out how the girl who once wiped their tables now rode away in a black chauffeured car. But I hadn't changed. Not really. Yes, I now wore silk blouses and owned a penthouse with a rooftop garden. Yes, I sat at boardroom tables and signed off on million-yuan projects. But I still woke up before sunrise. Still brewed tea the old way. Still packed 2 lunches, one for Linju and one for whoever might need it. Because kindness doesn't expire just because your name is on a building. Linju never let the power swallow him either. He donated his car collection. Started a program for underprivileged youth. Sometimes I catch him looking at me when he thinks I'm not watching. With the same quiet gratitude I saw that first night. When he was soaked, hungry, and invisible. We still fight sometimes. Still stumble through the chaos of business, of family, of expectation. But we always come back to this. I saw him when he had nothing. He chose me when I had even less. And now together, we build more. They say I was lucky, that I married a CEO's son by chance. But the truth is, I didn't feed a beggar that night. I fed the man who'd one day give me everything by simply remembering I needed nothing. When kindness costs you nothing, it might just earn you everything.